Game number 2 of day number 1. 2 more games after this. Texas Longhorns, recently elevated to the number 2 team in the country, will be in action. Just saw Louisiana. Those are the 4 teams that comprise this year's Lone Star State Invitational field. So Curran, the sophomore from San Jose, California. Was hit twice and walked twice in the earlier contest. That moves Stanford to 6-4 on this young season.
Starting to get a look. Hornbuckle in the circle. Working all sides of the zone, both in and out. You want to see, first time through the lineup, just attacking the strike zone early.
Bring up River Mailer, sophomore, who offers out into center field, ranging York, bounces off the glove. Mailer standing up into third.
Coach Allister describing her as one of the strongest leaders in the starting 9. You see here why. Despite the leadoff strikeout of the inning, she comes in the box swinging, aggressive early. A good effort by York trying to glove down that ball, but not enough to trap it in the web.
Still waiting on the scoring decision. It is an error to York out in center. I'm with you. Score yourself. That's a hit. That was a nice piece of hitting. It's a
good
tough
swing.
play.
That was a tough play.
Ranging. Kenley Koch, senior from Scottsdale, Arizona. 75 degrees. Barely a wisp of cloud in the sky. Bright blue here in central Texas. Gorgeous weather. Perfect for a full weekend of softball here in week number 3 of the season. 0-2 on the ground. Runner will come home. First run of the contest as Mailer is in. Koch brings her home.
They continue to be fundamental. The numbers this season aren't eye-popping just yet. Still early, but starting 9, 80% of them under 300 hitters. 2 hottest in the lineup being Mahler and Koch, 2 and 3 hole.
This ball undercut by Kaneshiro, who will be the starter. Behind.
A chance to read an article about her, just her work ethic, her approach to this team, her approach to the craft of softball.
Starts at the top of the order with Ashley York. Throwing will be Reagan Krause, the senior from Pontiac, Illinois. 5.00 ERA. This her 4th game started. 3 wins, 1 loss, 21 innings pitched, 1 complete game, 15 earned runs. Opponents hitting .345. What does she do it with?
She'll work north and south, so it's rise and drop. Picking a plane, sticking to the plane. That's what Colorado State's going to have to do.
There's the aforementioned Cerner looking on. Swing and a miss. Rook sits down to begin the batting side for Colorado State. Maya Matsubara, the senior from Honolulu, Hawaii. 357 average on the year. Tied for the second most hits on the team with 10. 2 of them for extra bases, both doubles.
I loved getting a chance to talk with Coach Fisher about the culture of this team, this program. They call themselves the Ramley, the Ram family.
It's a Ramley.
It's a Ramley.
We are Ramley.
Oh, yeah. You were born to sing.
If you only knew.
But the stat that really stuck out to me was the fact that she's had less than a handful of players in her history here at CSU that have left this program. No transfers. No transfers. That says a lot about the loyalty and the impact that Coach Fisher has on this program.
Matsubara sitting down. Make it 2 up, 2 down. And yes, this day and age, you track across the NCAA, across all sports. It's always looked at how many kids then hit the portal.
Right.
Some hit the portal in the middle of the season after a game, but to have players that matriculate all the way through, and for a coach that's 14 years at one institution, which is also pretty impressive this day and age, that you matriculate, you can really grow a culture that is then passed down. You've been part of a program that has a culture that continues to be passed down. That's hard.
It is hard. And to clarify, not that she's not tapping into the transfer portal, welcoming a new face from that portal this year.
0-2 pitch is a rocket down to first. Gall is over there defensively, a 1-2-3 inning in the circle for Kraus. Second inning when we come back to a beautiful Austin, Texas. Play to end the first. Cannot hold back on that first offering from Hornbuckle. Another one inside, a lot of English on that ball over at third. Crosby makes the grab to relay the throw to Cerna for the out.
It's the first time we've seen the off-speed out of the hand of Hornbuckle. Looks like Gall actually timed this pitch up well, but she got sawed off right on the handle of the bat. That to me tells me that they had a really good approach on this scouting.
Emily Jones trying to lay down the bunt. Throw looks like it might have had a chance, but bounces out of the glove of Allen coming over from second. It's the runner safe. Now we'll see if it scored a hit or an error.
They are going to give it an E4. That's what speed does, applies pressure to the defense. See some miscues follow.
Jade Berry, freshman from Queen Creek, Arizona, is the batter at the plate. Runner is going. Ball is in the dirt. So Jones will put herself in scoring position.
Second stolen base of the year, only the second attempt. 2 for 2.
Very a 208 inaugural campaign, 4 runs batted in.
There's that off speed again. The approach that Gall took to that pitch tells me that this is a pitch and a speed that they were prepared for. They were prepared to see it out of the hand of Hornbuckle.
Tried to wait on that one. Did not go, looking down to third. Troy Kuykendall down at third. Mindy Vila on first. Kevin Condor is behind home, our trio for today's game.
Yeah, this is going to be a trend. We're going to see a Stanford team have to battle against this off speed.
That ball shot in the gap and right runner looked. The throw is to home. Good throw by Smith. And Jones respects the arm and looked like rightfully so. Will hold at the corners for Stanford now.
Right through the 3-4 hole. Just early on this pitch, she whips the barrel around, and a really good hose right there from Smith and Wright.
First hit on the board for Stanford. Two runners reach via an error. So the DP, Allie Clements from Klein, Texas, a junior. Fourth game that she has started, 6 at-bats prior, 3 hits, one of those a double. Stanford team 6-4 overall after the win to begin their day. Team that began the season ranked in the top 10, top 5 in 2 polls. Bunt laid down, check the runner over at third. Jones holds tight. Clements is out after the throw by Hornbuckle.
This is basically a fake out. This is a bait and switch. She lays down the bunt. It does advance 60 feet from the runner at first, but what I would have loved to have seen there is Crosby at third base get challenged a bit.
Kira Chan will swing at the first pitch, and that'll do the job to bring home the run as Jones scores. The 9-hole sophomore from San Diego, California delivers, make it a 2-0 contest.
Well, it didn't matter because Chan got the job done. Back to our fundamental discussion of Stanford. This is what we saw in game 1. Again, it's nothing showy. It's nothing eye-popping, but it's just this quiet work at the plate, getting the job done, doing what it needs to take to get a run across the board, buying time for your pitcher to do her job in the circle.
Taryn Curd transferring to Stanford after a phenomenal freshman campaign at Indiana. Big Ten player and freshman of the year. Last year, she led her team hitting .404 with an OBP of .578, slug of .942, 3 single-season program records, home runs with 23, 65 runs batted in, 68 runs scored. But thus far this season, Aaron, she has struggled at the plate hitting-wise. The average .095, but that OBP is at .526. She's walked 11 times. She's been hit 7 times.
The contrast of those numbers is pretty outrageous.
She's been hit more than she's hit the ball.
Yeah.
She has 2 hits. She's been hit 7 times.
And you immediately want to look at average and you think, why is she still in the leadoff position? And then you look at the on base and it all makes sense. She's finding her way on.
And it feels like just a matter of time before Kern gets one, but kudos to her as well. And I laugh there, not at the production. It's that she's that impressive in her freshman campaign and the patience that she's showing to still impact the game.
Agreed.
And maybe the hitting's not there yet.
And it can make it hard because when you're trying to claw yourself out, I dare say slump. I hate that word. It's a dirty word. You need to see pitches that you can hit. And right now, she's not seeing a lot of those, which makes it doubly as hard, right? To find that groove with your bat.
Made mention in the first game she had 3-1 where she could have swung out of her shoes. So Naylor may be thinking here with the bases loaded out into left field. A great run-saving grab made by Gates. Molly Gates, Texas in the nightcap, day number 1 of this Lone Star State Invitational. Alex Loeb, Amanda Scarborough will be with you for those two. Tyler Denning, Aaron Miller here with you for this one. Haley Smith will begin. Bottom of the second. Senior from Cypress, California, 231 hitter on the year. Foul territory, out of the reach of the left fielder Chan coming over. That ball will bounce in about a foot left of the right field line, and on is Smith to begin the inning.
First base hit of the day for the Rams.
Molly Gates, who had the phenomenal grab out in left field, the senior, transfer from North Dakota State University, but a run-saving catch that also didn't have much give from the left field grass. We were looking at it. It was a great job, run-saving. Could have easily cleared the bases.
One of the most disciplined bats on this team. Coach Fisher talked about her work using a tool called U-Hit. It's something that really helps with timing, virtually like, well, I say virtually, it is virtual hitting. It's almost like AI hitting. Able to work on hand-eye coordination.
So what is it? Is it VR goggles?
Basically,
is it,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, basically tracking a ball into a strike zone and lower body triggering, when to pull the trigger, when to take, when to swing, all of those things that goes into decision-making at the plate. Right there, the ability to hold the weight back on a ball that's just shy of the river. Just a disciplined athlete at the plate, and in a really tough spot in the lineup, the 5-hole that really takes that discipline to be successful.
It's tied for the team lead with 11 hits, but does not get one there. Sat down with the strikeout from Kraus. Third strikeout of the day for Reagan Kraus.
96 is playing second base, number 23, Peyton Allen.
How would you describe the evolution of hitting tools from your playing days to right now? That ball dribbled into the gap between third and short.
It's not just hitting. I think just in general, our sport has so many resources to tap into. Data, even what we can use now with 643 charts, the footage out there that's tracked down to the pitch, confidence and ease to step into the box in a real game and go, okay, I have familiarized myself to the best of my ability with what I will see in real time. That's a big deal.
Jaylee Wilson will step in and try to do such. The freshman from Rancho Cucamonga, California. Yeah, you had said the words eye discipline. Just the ability to show your eyes what this may look like, whether that's a bat or then you're starting to work on that timing, that weight transfer, that front toe that so many hitters use as their timing device, whatever it is. Just another tool at the disposal. High into the blue sky, left field being put to work here on both sides. Chan makes the catch for the second out off the bat of Wilson in the 7-hole.
The technology goes both ways. You can see Kraus in the circle. She's got, looks like a watch almost on her glove side. That's actually what is being communicated for the pitch call. We've now had the introduction of the pitch clock, Tyler, which you and I have talked about.
Action clock.
Well, yes. Thank you for the clarification.
We have to, it's the action clock because the batter has to be in the box and available to go as well. As we've been told, it back up the middle straight to the pitcher. The action here, Stanford. Loss is there, a loss to Florida State. They have played Texas. They lost 9-2 there, but they beat Tennessee in a 1-0 contest. They returned 17 players from their Women's College World Series run. One of their best seasons in program history last year. 47 wins, 15 losses, 14-10 in Pac-12 play. Came up just 2 wins shy of a spot in the National Championship Series. It was their 3rd Women's College World Series appearance overall. Their first since 2004. 5th best win total in school history. Their best finish since 2009. Coach Allister, a part of that success for Stanford. She's taken part in 11 NCAA appearances as a player from 2001 to 4, an assistant from 07 to 09, then jumps over to Minnesota, 7 years there. She's actually been down here to Austin to play in early season tournament when she was at the helm of Minnesota, but back. Moving along 4 times. She has taken Stanford as a coach to the NCAAs. Last go round in the Pac-12.
I enjoy getting to talk to her.
Yeah, she's a great
I
conversation.
love getting to talk to any coach. It's the one things I really enjoy about this job, but there's just something about Coach Allister that's really magnetic. You get the sense that she's just a tremendous human that has deep connections with her players. Can feel motherly almost when you get a chance to speak with her. Just a good perspective on life. We got to talk to her about books and reading, her influence as a leader, as a coach, how she stays grounded.
I'm sure for you, you think, and I know you love who you played for, but you think, hey, that's a coach that I would love to play for.
100%.
At the pinch runner going, diving into second in scoring position.
Get that same sense when talking to Jen Fisher, head coach for Colorado State. We talked about the very impressive stat that she's had no transfers leave her
for postseason in play for a spot to win their conference. Ready to go after the pause in the circle. Ali Kaneshiro, Gold Glove winning catcher. Flexing the bat, looping one into right field. Runner Eck coming home. 3-0 Stanford.
First baseman, number 51.
Stanford starting to just settle in at the plate. Saw them struggle on the off-speed of Hornbuckle earlier this game. And to me, that area of power, the ability to sit, see the ball deep, go opposite field, shows me the adjustments being made. There's another off-speed there for strike one. And two, even just looking at the staff behind Hornbuckle, the arms that we're gonna see from Colorado State this weekend, very diverse. Got a freshman in Reagan Wick, a lefty. We've got the veteran of Nelly, as they call her, Danielle Cerna. Year 5, a huge leader, very humble for this squad. A well-led team, a well-oiled staff. Giselle Bentley, a heavy drop ball. Delaney Sogstad, another rise ball pitcher. So you think of the diversity of this staff, the diversity of arms that Coach Jen Fisher has in the circle, and anytime she can tap into it.
Ball shot out to left once again. Gates with no give from the turf, but makes the grab. 2 run-saving catches out and left by Gates.
We need to suds up the outfield a little bit so she can get some hang time, some slide time. 2 diving grabs in left field. Amazing athleticism, and have come at such a timely opportunity for her defense to save at least a run, if not 2 in both instances.
Just out of the reach of Crosby at third. Laid down, brings Hornbuckle towards home. He fires it down to first.
Third baseman number 10, Jay Berry.
So after the Gall out and Jones down, bring up Berry, who singled her first time. Speak with head coach Jessica Allister for Stanford when we come back after the 3rd out of this inning. Talk to her about how her team is faring thus far. We started for Stanford at 11 a.m. local today, but West Coast time that would be 9. Stanford had some games. They had some games in Clearwater and last year in the NCAAs that started at 9:30 local Eastern time. So that's 6:30 a.m. you're talking about to begin. And what does a pregame routine, pregame clock for a player look like? If you're playing at 9:30, what time are you waking up?
I'm waking up at 5 a.m.
So if you're playing a 6:30 body clock game,
yeah.
What time does that feel like your body's waking up?
Yeah, it feels like it's 2, 3 in the morning.
Strikeout to end the inning, but things stand as we hit the bottom of the 3rd inning, joined by Coach Allister. Stanford, what'd you think of game number 1? What are you thinking of game number 2 of your day?
Yeah, I thought game number 1 was a good win. I thought, you know, anytime you can come out and get a win on the first day against a really good team, and Louisiana's a really good team, that's a good day. And I thought we could have had a couple more runs on the board, which is a good thing. So happy with the start and happy that we're putting up runs right now.
Coach, what are you liking of Kraus so far?
She's competing in the zone, changing spin speeds, and just going right at him, which, you know, when you get a lead, you can pitch it through the zone, which is, it's a good thing.
Coach, thank you for the time.
Thank you.
So Reagan Kraus back into the circle for Stanford to now navigate a 3-run advantage.
Number 5, Sydney Hornbuckle.
The 9-hole hitter and her pitching counterpart and the senior from Bakersfield, California, Sydney Hornbuckle.
Well, this is what you'd want. Your 9-hole, setting the table, turning the lineup over. Three-run deficit. You've got a lot of game left here. If you're the Rams, you're chipping away with each opportunity.
Morgan Coleman will come into pinch run for Hornbuckle, the pitcher.
Morgan Coleman.
Couple of defensive changes. Eck to left field, Chan to right field. At the swap for Stanford. But laid down. Over to third. Throw made by Barry. Hornbuckle, excuse me, pinch runner. Coleman advancing.
You can't celebrate those moments enough. Sacrifice bunts are so important in our game.
Number 2, Maya Matsubara.
Nailing them this early in the season, you know you're going to need them later on down the road.
Matsubara struck out. First time at the plate. Ball 4. Put 2 runners on. Conversation in the circle. Runners 0 for 1. Lined out with a rope to first.
Kraus really wanting that pitch call right there. That was a close miss. You can't miss too sweet with a bat like Danielle Cerna. 423 average coming into today. 4 doubles so far in the season.
That one drops in just over the glove of Barry at third. Bases will be loaded after the base hit by Cerna.
I go back to the at-bat of Hornbuckle in the 9-hole. The leadoff walk is what started this rally. Successfully executed sacrifice bunt by York, and now we've got bases loaded. 1 out.
Smith had a single her first time up. Already 8 runs batted in on the season for the 259 hitter. Could really interject some life into her squad.
That's a big swing.
Ball rocketed, but well fouled. It's graduate housing that's going into left field, still under construction, but I hope they have double paned glass windows out there.
I've seen some people standing in some windows watching some softball. That's got to be a good view.
Yeah, that's definitely reachable.
Oh, yeah. I've seen some balls that hit out that far
Yeah,
in my time here.
that one had more than enough oomph. Just the wrong direction. 1-2 pitch, bases loaded. Up top from Kraus.
It's a big moment for Kraus. Getting tested here with the bases juiced. Doesn't matter who you're playing, you get yourself in a situation like this. This is an important repetition, an important rep. Early in the year. Be battle tested.
This ball goes the other way, out to right. Grab made at the track by Chan. Runners tag up, one across. First of the game for Colorado State.
About the Rams. We've talked about fundamental softball for Stanford. Now we're seeing it with Colorado State. A leadoff walk, a sacrifice bunt, another free bag. Your leader, Cerna, with a base hit, and now a sacrifice fly by Smith. She's now 1 for 1 on the day with an RBI.
So a productive out. The second of the inning. With runners now on the corners. Matsubara at third. Cerna remaining on first for the phenomenal defender Molly Gates. Stanford is at 3 runs solely because of 2 plays by Molly Gates defensively. Could be 7-1 if it weren't for a couple of spectacular catches out in left field.
We've talked about the depth for Colorado State's pitching staff. For Stanford, we saw Kennedy in game 1, the NFCA Freshman of the Year in her freshman campaign. Kraus now the senior in the circle, a rise drop ball pitcher. We've also got Kylie Chung, the junior. Screwball, a dominant off-speed pitch. She looked very good against Texas when they faced Florida. Excuse me. They looked good against Texas when they were in Florida. Her changeup was pretty devastating against the Longhorns. That, I think, is not talked about enough. When you've got a dominant arm like Kennedy in the circle, she's only as good as the support around her, right? The arms that can come in and support her when she doesn't have a great day, when they've got 2 games in a day. What's the depth of the rest of the staff look like?
It's been a big point of conversation for Coach Allister. We know Kennedy, how good she is, but developing a staff. Hot shot to third. Barry Fields makes the throw, pumped up his gall as just one crosses, but CSU in the scoring column. Speak with Jen Fisher. Come back to Austin. 3-1 contest. Now, this is Louisiana is the other team participating in this Lone Star State Invitational, joined by Colorado State head coach Jen Fisher. The team's grooving in the back. What are you seeing from your team as they just finally played it a run there?
Yeah, I think we got real patient there. It was obviously great to see Sid draw a walk and play, you know, kind of patiently like their team's doing on offense. So, yeah, little things help a lot.
Coach, the off-speed of Hornbuckle has been pretty impressive so far here through 3 innings. What was the game plan coming in for her against Stanford?
Yeah, I think, you know, such a lefty-heavy lineup, just trying to, like, get aggressive early and then mix pitches. So they've done a great job finding a couple holes. Obviously a little bit of an error there, so a little bit of nerves, but yeah, I think she's doing a great job putting it where it's pitched. The leadoff walk didn't help us, but she's in a good place.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
That was something that we heard Coach Fisher talk about for her entire staff, was sprinting to the first strike. Sprint to strike one. Get ahead of the count. From there, we've got room to play. Sprinting to 2 strikes. It's also a good response after your team just puts a run up on the board. You come out in the circle, make a statement quick. Off speed again.
Shallow fly out to second. Gets Allen on that pitch.
We're still seeing it out of the hand of Hornbuckle. I think Stanford made some good adjustments early in this game on the off speed, but still giving him fits with timing. In a 1-0 count, able to throw that off speed right at the knees.
1-1 to Chan, who will wait on that pitch. But the immaculate defense of Gates continues out in left field.
Second baseman, Karen Kern.
Put 7 balls in play in the air, and that to me is all timing. Some of them finding the grass, finding themselves on base, but when you're facing a lot of off speed, you're facing something that challenges your lower half and your timing, you're gonna be early. You're gonna put the ball in the air. That's something that Colorado State defense is gonna have to be prepared for. We've seen 2 diving grabs in left field.
All right, I think this is the breakthrough here for Kern. She's been patient. She's patient there. It's ahead 2-0. Can the big bat of the reigning Big Ten Freshman of the Year, Big Ten Player of the Year. Maybe Kern transferred it, and I would definitely say she did. To get out of the Big Ten, now she's saying, well, I got to go back. Began her career at Indiana. That's where she was the Big Ten Player and Freshman of the Year. Top 25 Collegiate Player of the Year finalist, top 3 Freshman of the Year finalist, and FC All-American second team on her way to hitting .404, but on this young season, just 2 hits thus far. The OBP leads the team, but 2 of 21 at the plate. 2-2, 2 outs, no runners on. Good take.
A 2-1 changeup. That's rough. Trying to put a bat on the ball, you're in a hitter's count, and you see an off-speed pitch that you just can't pull the trigger on. See what she does with a full count.
Swings and misses. Kern sits down. A 1-2-3 inning defensively for CSU and Hornbuckle. They trail by conference tournaments, and then the NCAA tournament. Baseball and softball are in action. Jam-packed weekend here in Austin, Texas. Tyler Denning, Aaron Miller, bringing you the first 2 games of today. We'll be with you for 2 tomorrow. Alex Loeb and Amanda Scarborough will take over the Texas games for this afternoon and evening. Hot Shot is onto the top of the hitting facility. Have you been in? Have they allowed you into the Texas facility? Been in there?
I have not walked it.
I still haven't been in there yet either. Yeah, it was built during COVID, so that was...
You know, you started to point out the new graduate housing in the back.
Looped out to right field. That'll drop in. Center fielder Jones coming over to cover. That's the throw, but sliding in safely to begin the inning with a base hit. Allen.
There's some brewing for Colorado State. You can literally feel their energy in their swings and their at-bats. You can hear it in the sound of their dugout. There's a spark. There's something that's starting to come alive. It looks like we're going to see a new arm.
.17 ERA, and this is a perfect scenario to get a young pitcher some experience.
I'm going to be entirely honest with you. I hadn't really considered us seeing Alyssa Houston this early. Only 6 innings on the season.
She'll get the watch trotted out there. Something new that we're seeing in our game, the communication that's allowed. Been a lot of conversations at many levels in many sports about sign stealing. Look no further than NCAA football and talking about communication. Seen it at the Major League Baseball level, but just another tool that allows the coaching staff and players to communicate. So Houston going to Wilson after Allen began the inning with a double. You'd mentioned Colorado State finding some energy, finding some life. They're out hitting Stanford right now, 4-3. Ripping back.
That is
huge.
huge.
The pitch, sits down the batter with a strikeout to begin her turn in the circle.
Freshman, only 6 innings on the year, comes in, a little bit of a pressure situation, and hums this ball up in the eyes. First K, first batter she sees.
Bolander, the batter. Grounded out back to the pitcher first time up. Ball high into the center field sky, and you talked about the positive for Stanford this season, and today it's the execution. On the flip side for Colorado State, you get a leadoff double, and still standing on second is Allen after 2 outs.
Yeah, if you can catch this spark, keep it alive. Pour some gasoline on it. Start to let that thing burn.
The 2 outs have taken just 5 pitches for Houston. Houston's got some gas.
She
to that
does.
arm.
I was just going to say that. I don't know if the 65-mile-per-hour gun is correct because it
Yeah, I think the
sure
gun's maybe
feels a little
like
zippy.
3 miles an hour off. Yeah, we were watching
In which direction?
Kennedy. I think it's light. You know, Kennedy earlier, she was hitting 70.
71, yeah.
That was looking more like 74.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your eye would know better than mine.
We have
65.
an interesting vantage point up here, yeah. It's got like the eyes of God down onto the field.
0-2. Allen still on second, outside the pitch from Houston. This one undercut to short, so after the leadoff double, Houston comes in at 4 o'clock Central. It's slated to start. Texas, #2 in the country. One of the bigger storylines in this young softball season thus far. Week #3 of the season. Texas off to a tear. And Aaron, they've done it against really good teams. Stanford being one of the teams that Texas already has a win against on the season. So definitely stick around. Alex Loeb and Amanda Scarborough will bring you those games as Texas in action in front of their home crowd. Looped out into center field. So Naylor on to begin the 5th inning.
It's a good angle by York in center. Cutting across, keeping that just to a single.
Two of the teams here, Stanford, Texas, both Women's College World Series participants.
For Stanford, re-entering it now on the plate, #3, Haley Koch.
Koch will come back in to bat in her spot. CSU was not in the NCAA tournament. Louisiana was, so 3 out of the 4 teams here this weekend played in last year's NCAA. It's always a good field for tournaments here. Texas over the years hosting a combination of Lone Star Invitational, Texas Invitational, Longhorn Invitational tournaments. Just depends on how many.
Who gets to make the
I
names?
don't know. Yeah, maybe they have a dartboard.
They draw names out of a hat.
But we were talking earlier, the weather, why it's so great, especially for these teams that are up north, and that's something that early in the season we always talk about. We ask coaches, how much time have you gotten outside? How much time have you gotten to actually work on the dirt defensively? That can bear an effect. How much time have you got to actually take fly balls
100%.
with sunshine in your eyes?
Acclimation of the body. I know it's not just blistering hot, but it can be based on relativity of what you're used to.
Stanford has been in California. They were in San Diego to begin their season, then in Florida, where I'm sure it was very humid. It was about 75% with the rain that they had. Washed out their last game in Clearwater. Yeah, and for CSU coming down from Fort Collins, I was just in Colorado. Snowed 8 inches.
Were you born in Colorado?
I was born in Estes Park, Colorado.
I love Estes Park. Wow, really?
That is
I'm learning something new about you every day.
where I was brought into.
Hiking Estes Park is such a treat.
Hard hit ball out to right. Haven't seen a home run yet today. We've seen a couple warning track balls
It was a nice catch.
out there on the.
Listen, it takes a big oomph to get out of this ballpark.
Yeah,
Do we know exactly how tall those fences are? They've got to be, what, 9 feet?
I think 10.
Yeah. I can remember a time
From here, they look like 20.
when they were chain link.
Oh, yeah.
And I can remember running full speed
Yeah.
into those things.
And what I learned last week is that if you go through the fence and still make the catch,
Baby.
it is an out.
It's a catch, baby.
Yeah, that
Run through a
fence.
wall. Let's
so
go.
technically, if you could jump this fence
And get her done.
and still make the catch, it would count as an out.
I can remember the chain link. I can remember a lot of iterations of this field. It's been fun to watch the growth of this program and this stadium.
This ball is in foul territory. Is that whole area that just used to be a mud pit?
That's exactly what it was.
The way that it would collect rain and the bullpen there up the
state-of-the-art facility now.
Texas side of the dugout. Texas traditionally taking the third base dugout. Here, is that the same for you, your home games?
What?
Which dugout?
Yeah, we would always take the third base side. Brand new facility, beautiful. Couple seasons now, with the new indoor.
0-2 pitch.
You mentioned the new housing in the outfield. The wall did not used to be padded. Some beautiful bleachers. Yes, I'm telling you, it's fun to see. It's good to see across the nation. Oklahoma is about to open in a brand new stadium, state-of-the-art, March 1st.
Okay.
Loves Field.
Out into left, make it 3 phenomenal grabs. Molly Gates out in left field. She is on fire today.
Wow. Not once, not twice, 3 times. You live for these plays, Tyler, as an outfielder. You live for them. And she's gotten 3 opportunities in 1 game. Love to see it.
So Kaneshiro down as that one weakly into the glove of Houston. Will be back out into the circle after coming into relieve and went 1-2-3. Her first batter's face a strikeout and 2 pop-outs. The wind is winding up here in the booth. Here, we can screw down our lineups with this screw that I just found on the ground. Four hits for both teams. Colorado State has had opportunities in both the second and the third innings. Gotten runners into scoring position. It was a missed opportunity, but also credit to Houston in the fourth to get that leadoff double, but Houston comes in, gets the 3 consecutive outs. Top of the order here in York. CSU with 3 more times at the plate, including this one inning-wise. This grab made by Jones in center for out number 1.
That was a big moment for the freshman coming in. Gets the 7, 8, 9 hole after that leadoff double in the 4th inning. 3 consecutive outs. This is an arm that's only had 6 innings in the entire season thus far.
Matsubara shoots 1 foul. Go back to what you were telling me earlier, facility-wise, Oklahoma. I know that that's been a long time coming, trying to get that thing built. What's it look like? What are all the bells and whistles? I mean, that's a premier program. One of the premier programs, not only in our sport. This ball shot out to center, over the head and glove of Jones, so we'll pick that up here in a second. It's a nice piece of hitting from Matsubara.
Crushed. We see these flashes of power, right? These flashes of greatness at the plate, of momentum, of spark in this lineup during football season. It's been a minute. But the bones were there, and it is beyond words. In size, in bells and whistles, in resources and services that will be provided to the student athletes. It's impressive. Float rooms, massage rooms, nap pod rooms, fuel rooms to get your smoothies and your protein and your whole 9 yards. I mean, it will be the new standard for softball stadiums.
See the bio on Cerna, hometown product here in Austin, Texas. But ask you that, just, you know, now there will be Oklahoma moving to the SEC. We know about all the other changes. Stanford right in the middle of that, going to the Big Ten. We know the arms race money that's in college sports now, NIL. You're probably of just that last little generation that missed out or didn't get to participate.
And you know what? I think there's two types of camps of people that are looking at these updates, right? That, oh my gosh, the rich get richer. I refuse to look at it that way. And I know that's easy for me to say, right, being an alumni, but it moves the needle, Tyler. It moves the needle.
2-2 pitches up high. That a big strikeout.
Huge
for
strikeout.
Houston here in a 2-run contest.
Think of Davis Diamond down at A&M. Beautiful facility. Arizona with a brand new stadium. Florida with stadium updates in the last handful of years. And there is a lot of state-of-the-art stadiums out there for the sport of softball, and this moves the needle. I look at this stadium, right? Red and Charlene McCombs Field, the updates and the money and the support that's been poured right here.
Look at the crowds.
Exactly.
That our game gets. I think you're having more and more people exposed to the game, more and more people aware of the game, and I think just will continue to be one of the talking points across the season is the growth of not just the game of softball, women's collegiate athletics.
I think all of it, it's all cyclical. It all pours back into itself. The resources available, the ability to go recruit, the availability to go travel and find athletes like Kennedy, like Houston in the circle.
Houston trying to once again leave a runner in scoring position. Rams have left 5 on base. They're 2 for 10 with runners on, 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. 0 for 4 with 2 outs. They've out-hit Stanford. Smith has a single. And a sac fly RBI. That the last at bat in the 3rd. Laces one foul.
Big at bat here for Smith.
Payoff pitch. This ball is in play. Efforting from center, diving to the deck. Jones makes the run-saving catch. Wow, the outfield play we have seen. Great plays in the outfield across the course of this game. So can Jones. For you, when you played some defense and you made a great defensive play and then you got an opportunity to bat right after that, how did you step into the box with that energy?
Well, you got to yield it correctly, right? You got to try and gain your composure, but it's confidence. It is momentum, and you want to use it to the best of your ability. It's interesting because we talk about the other flip coin of that, compartmentalizing the game, where if you make an error, now you've got to block it out.
So give you a little
it
more
goes one way.
Adrenaline, you know, that you can stand in and just get hit by the pitch and you don't feel it.
Take the bag.
So Jones hit. Taker spot at first, has 3 stolen bases, is a perfect 3 for 3 on the season, so keep an eye over at first. And what is it, 2-run tight contest, so what will Stanford do with their leadoff runner on? Barely takes. Runner does go. Good jump. Even better dive. No problem for Jones to swipe the bag.
Speed, speed, speed. We haven't seen a lot today. Testing the arm. Bolander behind the plate. Speed of Jones gets it done.
Roped over to first, chance to turn 2 and out. Great defense continues. Cerna was there to make the catch and double off the runner.
Not only the athleticism to get this play done, but it's the heads up, right? To know that you've made that catch from the knees, that you've got a defender ready to catch this ball at second base. It's communication, it's heads up ball, it's gamesmanship. Danielle Cerna.
The field stands. And how about afterwards that then you double off the runner in Jones, who had stole second, was in scoring position. So great play defensively by Cerna. It's just added to the list of good defensive plays that Colorado State has had thus far. So 2 down. Clements will be the batter. .30 leads to ball 4. Coach Allister will make a switch for the DP over at first.
21 for 27.
Then we'll come into run.
Base for Stanford, number 21. Caitlin Lynn, batter number 8, Kira Chen.
9-hole. Kira Chin at the plate. Chan, the RBI single in the second, flew out to left.
I've been impressed with what we've seen from Colorado State. I've been impressed with Hornbuckle in the circle. Their defense has been solid. Their offense has put together a few punches.
Runner going, throw. Just to the right of the covering shortstop. Tsubata, so in safely the pinch runner Lim. To scoring position for Chan.
They're behind a couple runs, but they don't feel, it doesn't feel like they've been caught on their heels.
Coach Allister had told us, I feel like we should have had more on the board. Part of that's been the great defense that we've seen from Colorado State. But if you didn't have a scoreboard up on this one, it would feel energy-wise that Colorado State is in the lead.
Agreed.
But that is not how the game is kept score-wise. Can Stanford add to their lead of 2? Strike. Chan was 3 steps down to first. So back in at 3-1. What's the pitch here?
She's going to go back inside.
That ball bounced off the dirt. The throw's over to first. The runner is out for the third out.
Life at the plate. It feels like they're on the cusp. Yeah, Tyler, it feels like they're going to bust through the gates here at any minute. The energy's been high. They've been vocal in the dugout. They've been in some really good offensive situations. Just hasn't been able to pull it across the finish line.
Can she spark her team? With 6 outs to find at least 2 runs. Struck out her first time up, grounded out to third. Last time at the plate, the last at bat was in the third.
First hitter, number 21, Caitlin Lind is now playing right field.
Right back to Houston off of the leg of the pitcher. So on will be Gates. Checking on Houston will her catcher, Kaneshiro.
This is what we've seen. Hard and competitive leadoff at-bats. Back in the 4th, we saw a leadoff double. Saw a hard hit to start the 5th out into center field, and this one right back at the legs of Houston.
That ball ripped, but about 3 feet foul.
Got the leadoff on back in the 2nd. Again, they've given themselves opportunities. Coach Fisher even defining her offense is fundamental. Using that word herself. This is a team that does know how to do the little things well. They do know how to compete. It's not flashy, but it's solid. It's hard work.
Allen a single and a double, but nothing there. Is a big strikeout for Houston. 3rd of the day for Alyssa Houston.
This is also a consistent trend. Leadoff gets on and then a strikeout follows. That's the 3rd time that that's happened this game. It's a momentum killer.
It happened in the 4th inning with the double from Allen that then Wilson struck out. As Wilson now the batter at the plate. It happened in the 2nd inning with a single from Smith and a strikeout from Gates. CSU just 2 of 12 with runners on. Another one undercut foul. Ripped to third. Bobbled but collected by Barry. He laid over to Gall for the out.
Brick wall. It was a hot shot to the corner.
Seen good defense by both teams
My goodness.
in this game.
Yeah. I think without the defense, we would see some drastically different numbers up on the board.
Bolander on the ground to short, easy play for Mailer. So once again, a runner on, runner in scoring position, nothing there. Top of the order coming up for the Cardinal. One frame to play here in Austin. Kept themselves in it with good defense, just cannot break through at the plate. 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Stanford 3 for 9. It's the difference right now in spite of CSU out hitting Stanford 6-4. Tyler Denning, Aaron Miller closing out our day number 1. Number 2 Texas will be in action 4 o'clock Central here on Longhorn Network.
Is this going to be the at-bat, Tyler?
I called the last one, so if you want to call this one.
I feel good about it.
You can.
I think this is when Kern breaks through. Until the next one.
On to the next.
Shortstop, Mayfield.
What are your early evaluations of Stanford? We had mentioned it's a team that went back to Women's College World Series in nearly 2 decades, 19 years, went in 2004, back last year. Someone grouped in by Mailer, but what are the impressions that you get from this team, strengths, and then maybe where they'll continue to improve over the year?
Saw some good things defensively. I think that's going to be an area that will need to be really solid. We know the talent of Kennedy in the circle. What I'm waiting for is to see an offense that can also compete at that caliber. It's one thing to hold teams to no runs, but you do have to score and score consistently when the pressure's on to win ball games. So I am personally looking forward to the Stanford-Texas rematch. I want to see the response from this Stanford team. One of the best pitching staffs in the nation is Texas. That's a fact. The diversity of arms, the ERAs, just the talent in general is elite for UT. And I want to see what Stanford can do against it.
Game will be tomorrow. Texas will kick off their Lone Star State Invitational against the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana. And close out the night against Colorado State. Foul ball that glanced off the leg of Koch. She says she's all good. Was your preference in an invite like this to play back-to-back games or to have the break?
100% back-to-back.
Colorado State will
Keep the
have
blood pumping.
that break. Have to sit down, then play the nightcap. Ripped out to left. 2 on.
Catcher, Ali Catcher.
Kaneshiro waits on that pitch, out to left. That's the first home run of the day. Kaneshiro, the catcher, a 3-run shot to pad the lead, double up, make it 6-1.
Did they hear me? Did they hear me asking for offense? That's the showmanship I've been waiting to see.
I say yes.
I'm gonna choose yes too. This was a no-doubter. Telling you, it takes a lot of oomph to get a ball out of this park. 200 down the left field line. That was around 210 being left center, and a 10 feet tall fence. Well, that was actually right up against the foul pole. I don't know what I was looking at.
Yeah, and Stanford, they hit just 1 home run their first 5 games. Then they go down to Florida, They hit 7 last weekend. They've hit 10 home runs through their now 11 games nearly after just 26 last season. Kaneshiro, 3-run shot. Nucha's 4 earned runs as she sits down. Kaneshiro, that's her 4th home run of the season. Last year, while on her way to earning a Gold Glove Award as the nation's best catcher in a NCAA All-Region in the West 3rd team, she hit 7 home runs. So Stanford team, when you talk about run scoring, Aaron, and trying to capitalize, that long ball always helps, especially this day and age. So Kaneshiro, now team high 4 home runs after that 3-run shot to the spacious left field wall of Red and Charlie McCombs Field. Another hard charge into a ball out to center, but hangs up in the afternoon sky for York to make the grab off the bat of Gall.
Center fielder Emily Jones.
Towards short, shallow left center. Now that's firmly Bermuda Triangle right there.
I was just going to ask you, is that
is it? You tell me. You're the expert up here.
It's tough. This truly comes down to just range of communication between your infielders and your outfielders. I mean, that's catchable. Matsubara, if she's able to really see that in the sun, I think that ball should be caught.
Runner going, good jump.
It tested Bolander 3 different times today.
Jones' 2nd stolen base in back-to-back innings. And it kind of felt for Stanford, it was a matter of time. They were having quality and have had quality at bats throughout. There's just been some really good defensive plays. Snagged by Cerna over at first that led to a double play. The grabs out and left by Gates that were run-saving plays, but Stanford staying the course. They've now found 6 runs, 3 more to their tally here in the top of the 7th inning. That will be the work. 5. That's what the Rams need. 9-1-2 due up for Colorado State when we come back. Bottom half of the 7th inning. Close this one out with us. To add some drama to this one.
Third baseman Caitlin English.
Coach Allister coming out to confer with the home plate umpire as Caitlin English, freshman from Parker, Colorado, will begin the inning off. It was Hornbuckle, the pitcher that was slated in that position, but English will await to take her cuts after changes relayed. And 30 minutes after this one, Texas will be in action against Louisiana. Slated for 4 o'clock, but whenever this one ends, just add 30, and that's when you will get to see the 2nd-ranked Texas Longhorns. If it's your first time watching Texas, Aaron, would you say that they have the full complement, pitching, hitting, defense? A little bit of everything.
I think they've got it all. They're impressive.
I think you can firmly say for Coach White has put his stamp on this program. Liner to get English out. Barry with the throw. I think it was when Texas went out to LA against UCLA, that first weekend of the season, that opened a lot of eyes. Texas didn't just win those games against UCLA. They put the hurt on UCLA. Second game, I believe, was 15-0. So Texas has made a statement early on, but it is still early on in the season. And these are always great measuring sticks, especially for teams that have been deep on postseason runs and return good players, or to watch freshmen that are off to great starts. As that ball laced out into center. Jones will dive, but well out of her reach is York. Digging for third, the throw not in time, diving in with the triple by York.
Some late pop here, seeing the ball deep, going opposite field. Just out of the diving range of Jones. We've seen a lot of diving efforts so far this game, but this one not close enough to the glove. A good swing.
Tough learning moments for Houston as well. Back out there in the circle with a comfortable lead. Can you get out and shut the door and get the win? Back into the glove of Jones. Tagging up will be York. So there's one across in the bottom of the seventh, but 2 outs. CSU down to their final out.
Cerna stepping in, fifth-year senior leader.
So Matsubara gets the RBI on the sac fly.
These late runs, this late push is something to be proud of as well. These are the little details, right? The never say die mentality, even with 2 outs on the board. 1 out left to work with. This is that culture, right? It's the expectation that Jen Fisher has in this team. Commitment, the loyalty, work ethic.
Serna lined out to first, then singled, struck out her last time up. That was in the 5th inning. Souvenir ball. Any of the fans? There's one. Nice snag off the bounce. If the other fans aren't going to field it on the fly.
Hey, it's hers.
There you go. There's a souvenir for you to take home. 0-2. Rams down to their final strike.
And a golden opportunity for this young woman right here. Houston, the freshman, stepped in. Big moment for Stanford, having only 6 innings under her belt before she stepped into the circle today. Freshman against 5th-year senior. The start of a career against an athlete that's bookending it.
Off speed. Houston ready to go. Serna awaits.
What a battle.
Another souvenir ball. Swing and a miss, and that'll do it. A successful day for Stanford. They come in, they get 2 wins. Krause will get the win, but Houston, impressive. The freshman weather sliders to better for a full slate of softball today, tomorrow, Sunday. This is the second of 4 games taking place here at Red and Charlotte McCombs Field today. There'll be 4 tomorrow. Number 2, Texas is in action all 3 days. Longhorns will play the Raging Cajuns at 4 o'clock Central. This likely to start Texas, number 2 in the country. One of the bigger storylines in this young softball season thus far. Week number 3 of the season. Texas off to a tear, and they've done it against really good teams. Stanford being one of the teams that Texas already has a win against on the season. Definitely stick around. Alex Loeb and Amanda Scarborough will bring you those games as Texas in action in front of their home crowd. Looped out into center field. The 5th inning.
Good angle by York in the center. Krause keeping that just to a single.
To the teams here, Stanford, Texas, both in these College World Series participants.
Play number 3,
Coke will come back into that first spot. CSU was not in the NCAA tournament. Louisiana was, so 3 out of the 4 teams here this weekend played in last year's NCAA. It's always a good field for tournaments here. Texas over the years hosting a combination of Lone Star Invitational, Texas Invitational, Longhorn Invitational tournaments. Just depends on how many.
It gets to make games. They drove me down.
We were talking earlier, the weather, why it's so great, especially for these teams that are up north. And that's something that early in the season we always talked about when I was coaches. How much time
this program and this stadium.
This ball is in foul territory. Is that whole area, that just used to be a mud pit.
That's exactly what it was.
The way that it would collect rain in the bullpen there up the
state-of-the-art facility now.
Texas side of the dugout. Texas traditionally taking the third base dugout. Here, is that the same for you, your home games?
What?
Which dugout?
Yeah, we would always take the third base side. Brand new facility, beautiful. Couple seasons now, like the new indoor.
0-2 pitch.
You mentioned the new housing in the outfield. The wall did not used to be padded. Some beautiful bleachers. Yes, I'm telling you, it's fun to see. It's good to see across the nation. Oklahoma is about to open in a brand new stadium, state-of-the-art, March 1st.
Okay.
Loves Field.
Out into left, make it 3 phenomenal grabs. Molly Gates out in left field. She is on fire today.
Wow. Not once, not twice, 3 times. You live for these plays, Tyler, as an outfielder. You live for them. And she's gotten 3 opportunities in 1 game. Love to see it.
So Kaneshiro down is that one weakly into the glove of Allen at second. Gall the third out. What a day for Gates. 2 run-saving grabs and another one to add to her highlight reel. Gates with the phenomenal dive.